$1 billion cash, which is a unicorn.
I did over $300 million in online sales.
I think about 500 million.
Wow. Like 5,000 to 50,000 for a video, sometimes more.
What are your thoughts on tariffs? What do you think of the tariff policies that Trump's going to be putting into place? Elon Musk is going to be spearheading the Department of Government Efficiency. What is your thoughts on that? I'm curious. Today, we're going to ask millionaires about Trump's tariff plan and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Can Trump and Elon fix the financial problems in the United States of America? Comment down below. Let's get this video started.
Yeah, legend status, ask about the name. I've been putting in work, collecting the fame. Up in the stat while they watching the 10 in the game. Either you in it or just a critic, man, we ain't the same. I'm focused on making this history. Into my top 5 list is listing me. I never got an L on pass, this ain't no breeze. I had to make the work outlast the bill of steam.
Do you mind answering a few questions for the YouTube channel?
Absolutely.
I see Legendary. Is that, you own a company called Legendary, or what do you do for work?
I do quite a few things. I'm an entrepreneur, but I've been involved in the food space for about 15 years, starting with Quest Nutrition, and now Legendary Foods.
What were you doing with Quest? Were you part of the acquisition? I mean, I heard they sold for how much?
$1 billion, but not $1 billion, but $1 billion cash, which is a unicorn, which is unheard of in business.
So you were part of the company, right?
I was part of the team. I serendipitously met Shannon in the gym, who was the one that made, she goes by Quest Creator, was making the bars by hand. I started helping them build relationships, and 7 years later, I was an executive, and we sold for $1 billion cash. Yeah.
Wow, $1 billion. That's crazy, right? Man. So we've had a lot of changes recently, right? With a new administration in office, right? Trump's now the president. A lot of things are changing pretty quickly, right? What are your thoughts on tariffs, and how will that affect inflation in the economy?
I did hear he's going to be president. That's amazing. Tariffs are an interesting thing. It's some people are wordsmithing a little bit. Really, at the end of the day, what it comes back to, it's great for our business. We're made in America, right? And I think that's what they're trying to accomplish as administration, instead of just everything coming from other countries, coming back here, whether it's fuel, whether it's food, groceries, agriculture, bringing it back to the States. I mean, it makes sense.
Got it. And what do you think of Elon Musk and Department of Government Efficiency, right? Like, he's saying he's going to slash 1 to 2 trillion off the yearly deficit and basically balance the budget. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
I've always been a big fan of his. I remember when they did the launch of the truck, the Cybertruck. Yeah. They did a thing at their headquarters in Hawthorne. I was invited to the party. That's when he threw the ball bearing and it broke the window. Wow. I've just always been a fan. I mean, think about one human being has got a car company, a rocket company, a finance company. Now he's going to look at the budget of the United States and says he's going to trim billions, if not trillions. I mean, between him and Vivek, right? Yeah. How can you not like a guy who's going to do great things for America?
So you were a part of a company that sold for $1 billion. What would be your advice for some young entrepreneur that wants to become a millionaire during this administration?
Gosh, I wish I had it to do over again. I will say this: if you have a consumable item, which is a product, it could be a cookie, a drink, or if you have a service, which is a mortgage or solar panels, all you have to do is continue to be obsessed with your customers and not your competition. What happens is people are obsessed with their customers for a while and then they lose sight. And many companies do it. And the other thing is, no matter where you are in your life cycle, you need 1,000 screaming fans. It has nothing to do with social media. I'm going to say it again, nothing to do with social media. I have a very simple formula. If people like you, they're going to listen. If they trust you, they're going to buy. But if you transform their lives, they're going to go to the highest mountaintops and scream your name. And that's what happened at Quest in the early days. Social media just started, Facebook just started, but people were obsessed with what we were doing for them. We went from being a protein bar company to a mission-based company, and people were changing their diets. They had diabetes, they could eat our product. They had gastric bypass, they would eat our product, and people started looking at us like we're saving lives instead of just selling protein bars.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. So 1,000 screaming fans.
That's it. Yeah. And people sometimes confuse that for social media. Yeah. You don't need social media. You need 1,000, an army out there that are talking about you and your brand. Like I said, whether it's a product or a service that are screaming your name, those 1,000 become 10,000 and 100,000 and 1 million. And that's how you get to $1 billion.
David, good to see you again.
Good to see you, buddy.
Do you mind answering a couple questions for the YouTube video?
100%. Let's do it.
And so what car do we have here today, man? This is your famous tank, or what is it? How much does this go for?
It's a Rezvani tank. It's about $250K, so it's not too bad, and it's just freaking awesome. I love it.
I've never really seen anything like this on the road, so this is incredible.
That's why I bought it. I like pulling up somewhere and no one freaking has the car. Because in Beverly Hills, everyone has a Lambo, a Rolls Royce, a Ferrari, but no one has a freaking Rezvani tank. So I love it.
I got some questions for you today. There's a lot of changes in government, a lot of things going on, and I'm curious your point of view on things. What do you think of the tariff policies that Trump's going to be putting into place and already enacting in place and negotiating with other countries?
Personally, I think either way, if they raise tariffs or if they don't have tariffs, the consumers are going to pay at the end of the day, right? So if all the manufacturing is done here, obviously that's a good thing. It employs people, the U.S. economy grows, and all these other companies have been exploiting overseas because there have been no tariffs, right? So you might as well manufacture overseas and bring it in because they're not charging any taxes, right? So all these U.S. companies are doing this, right? All the biggest companies in the world, Apple, where do you think all their chips are getting manufactured? China. I mean, they're one of the biggest companies in the world, right? So all these huge conglomerates, they all get stuff in China. I have products that get manufactured in China. So if they charge a tariff, guess what? I'm going to have to increase my price a little bit. I'm going to have to get better at marketing. I have to get better at sales. We all have to adapt. That's just life.
You own a lot of different companies, right? Manufacturing, import, export, real estate. What was the most amount of money you did in a single year revenue-wise?
In a single year, I did about $65 million in 1 year. One calendar year. That was the most I've ever done in my entire life.
That's incredible. And what about in total sales for your businesses? Like I know in 15 years you did how much?
I did over $300 million in online sales, in e-commerce sales.
You're the business guy, right? You're the entrepreneur. Elon Musk is going to be spearheading the Department of Government Efficiency. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm actually pumped.
Really?
And so should the audience. Because we've been paying taxes for things that people don't even use. It's been going to the politicians. It's been going to the lobbyists, right? If there's someone there that's actually looking at where every dollar is being spent, there's going to be probably over $1 or $2 trillion that won't be spent now.
Oh, wow. So you think he could cut trillions?
I think it could cut $1 trillion. Easy. $1 trillion. Not billions, $1 trillion. I mean, look what he did to X, right? When he took over Twitter and it's now called X, he pretty much took away, I don't know, 75% of his labor costs, automated things. Now it's leaner now could actually make a profit. I want him to do the same thing to our government because that's our tax dollars. That's all of our tax dollars, right? They go to jobs that are make-believe. People, they sign their name once and they get a check for $1 million. I mean, I actually want accountability, so I think it's freaking awesome. I'm pumped about it.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, I feel like an entrepreneur would look at costs to cut, and that's what Elon Musk is going to do.
100%. So I think that's a great move. I love having Trump in the office because he's a businessman. He understands economics, supply and demand. He understands negotiation. He's already a billionaire, right? So when you have someone that's already made billions of dollars and has done business internationally with other presidents and leaders, he already knows this. This is like us waking up in the morning and brushing our teeth. That's how this is going to be for Trump, right? He's a businessman, and the U.S. is the biggest business in the world, right? So you need a businessman to run it. And we've had politicians run a business. And as you could see, you saw inflation, you saw our markets, everything went to crap, right? So I'm pumped, and I think the economy is going to just go uphill.
Majid, good to see you again.
Good seeing you.
I know you've had tremendous success. I know you sold one company for $165 million, but you've also owned multiple other companies that you've sold for a lot of money. Like in total, how much have your companies done in sales and revenue?
I think about 500 million.
Wow. You've owned a lot of different companies. I'm sure you've gone through many different presidents along the way as well. What are your thoughts on Trump's policy with tariffs?
You have different mechanisms within the government's ability to induce other countries to work with us or against us or manipulate relationships. So tariffs is a good tool. It's just one tool that he has at his disposal to manipulate some of those relationships, put some pressure, put some force. And it's a very legitimate tool, and I love it. I think he should use everything that he has in his suite of products in order to make that happen.
Elon Musk is going to be spearheading the Department of Government Efficiency. He's already been named.
I love that.
What is your thoughts on that? I'm curious.
I love that. I think a country is best run by good business people than just pure politicians. Politicians politicize, and they like to keep things status quo and keep things moving, all with some angle and some slant that they have. But businessmen are looking at very black and white. How do I create efficiency? How do I reduce waste, increase profitability, and so forth?
I mean, he's making some pretty bold claims. I mean, he's saying that he's going to balance the yearly budget, right? Cut out $2 trillion from the deficit. Do you think that's actually possible? I'm curious.
Well, I think like anything else, when you try to go and do something great, there will be a lot of pushbacks.
Yeah.
So once he starts seeing that pushback, he's going to have to make adjustments and tweaks and probably make some people happy on this side and some people happy on that side. So he has to make some concessions, and it's a nice goal. You always want to put a very high goal. Once you get in, you have to, keep people happy along the way.
Yeah.
So those concessions, but that's a great goal.
How you doing, my man? Do you mind answering a question or two for the YouTube channel?
I am down. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. So who are you, man? You look really familiar.
Daniel Mack. I ask people what they do for a living.
Oh, wow. And how many followers do you have on social media?
It's probably 24 million, I think, 25 million, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. And dude, I'm curious, like, what would be your advice for somebody that's just starting out in social media and wants to gain that type of following?
Well, I'd say post on everything. A lot of people aren't on Facebook, even though it's a big money thing, and other things like Snapchat and whatnot. And then obviously short form's the easiest way to grow at the beginning. Then you could convert into long form. Just keeping things cut tight, no lag space on your videos are my best tips, yeah.
How much money can you make being on social media, man? I know you've done a lot of collaborations with some of the biggest names, man. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, most of the money comes from brand deals. So it really depends on how many followers you have. But if you have a couple million followers, you can charge anywhere from like $5,000 to $50,000 for a video, sometimes more. But it just depends on your engagement. Snapchat and Facebook, a couple thousand a month on each of those. I feel like a lot of people have a couple million. Yeah. I
love that, man. And dude, we got a lot of changes right now with the government. Obviously, Trump's now in office. What do you think is like the best investment, or what are you looking to spin your content a little bit differently or do the same thing? I'm curious, like with the new administration, the new trendy topics coming out in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I keep my content pretty financial. I like to keep it like lighthearted though as well. So yeah, I mean, I feel like regardless of who's in office, people are going to still be investing. So I'm going to keep it still at the kind of financially topics and whatnot. So yeah, I'll keep it the same-ish.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for your time, bro.
For sure, man.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure.
100%.
Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.